Hello, everyone, and good evening. I hope you have had a good weekend. I know I've had a lot of fun here on my end. We've already got 9 people in here and 2 likes. If you are here, give us a thumbs up. Let YouTube know you like the work we're doing. It actually helps the channel out amazingly if you give us that thumbs up. And if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications so you're notified anytime we release a new video or we go live, like here at Magickal Coffee Hour, where we try to have some fun, have a little discussion, and I try to spend a little time here with the Working Dragon Mystic community. Creator, good to see you. Jade, good to see you as well. Immortal, welcome. Dragon of the West, good to see you. Maria, hello. And Blue Star, welcome. Looks like we got some early questions already set in here. Creator, you're making wine and mead. That's great. I have a video on mead. You're wanting to know about cacao water. I've never actually used it, so I do not know how it would affect the yeast and stuff. I've never used it. Best I can say is you could try it. I have done a chocolate mead in the past, though I made it with actual like chocolate syrup. I believe I used Hershey's Special Dark, if I remember correctly. We were specifically shooting for a chocolate dessert mead for me and the wife. Came out really, really good. We small batched it, so we ran out quick. It did not last long at all. As to what entities would like it, honestly, any entity that is associated with cacao or chocolate would definitely like it. Any entity that has a relation with mead could try it. But don't get hung up on correspondences. If you're working with an entity and you've crafted something, share it with them. Especially if you've crafted it for them, though I see that you don't personally drink. In all honesty, if you don't drink, how do you even know if it's good? You got those issues there. And some people will say that might border on you giving them things you don't like anyway. I'm not so sure on that, because if you're specifically crafting it to share with them, that effort, that labor, that is all a form of dedication. I think they would like that just fine. It's one of those things like anything in homebrew. Get in there, try it, see what happens, and enjoy the process, mate. Enjoy the process. Let's see. And on a message, welcome, Jeremy, welcome. Solomon Sun, welcome, and Violet Star, welcome. Also, people, before I forget, do remember we have YouTube and Patreon memberships, tiers 1, 2, 4, and 3. If you want to support the channel, go over there. You get special perks. Tier 3 is actually now have the access for potentially joining us in the crap, I forgot what we call them. Roundtable chats. Roundtable chats. That's the ones. That's the ones. Tier 2 and Tier 3 get different versions of monthly spell working. And we are getting ready to open it up so that all channel members, yes, all channel and Patreon members, Tier 1, 2, and 3, will have early access to all roundtable chats before they go public. Okay? So that's a big deal. I know a lot of people have been asking if we could try and do something. We've been tinkering with it. Me and Jade may think we found a way to make it happen, and we're going to make that happen, okay? So if you are interested in supporting the channel or you want to get access to early content, do that. Also, channel members do get access to member-only live streams and just general conversations with me, because I randomly go in there, members only, during my coffee break or whatnot, where members can join me and ask questions. And sometimes they turn into a real deep discussion. So a lot of fun, a lot of great things happen over there. Let's see. But wanted to make that known. Also, I should probably say, if you do a super chat tonight, $5 or more, you'll be you'll automatically receive spell working for luck, prosperity, health, and just progress toward reaching your goals. Just a general thing for any person who does a super chat of $5 or more, with or without a question. And if you have a question that's getting overlooked for any reason, because sometimes we get crazy busy, do remember we have super chats. It flashes up real fancy on the screen and kind of flags me down, and it flashes for any amount that you want to super chat. So there you go. I think that's all the business that we got to do. Let's get in drinking coffee and having fun. What do you say? Unless Jade. Oh, wait, we got the gilded community too. Yeah, got a gilded community. Don't forget about that. If you are a member in any of the tiers, we also have a members only gilded community. If for any reason the link or whatever over at the community section for the YouTube members isn't working or the Patreon link isn't working, let me know. I will personally send you a link directly to get you over to the members only area. Just make sure you send me the message either in a members only YouTube thing where we posted the link or direct message me on Gilded. Just so you know. That way we can make sure you are there. Otherwise, we'll have to confirm you. But we will get you over there. Just so y'all know. And we have a public Gilded as well, which Jade already shared that link. Thank you, Jade, for sharing the public Gilded link. The members only Gilded allows me to focus on a few other things and talk about things. And, also allows me to communicate with all the members since Patreon and YouTube won't let me link things up because, competition. And yes, the merch link, Jade. Thank you. Look at you. You're doing better than me. Thank you. If you want a fancy coffee cup like this with the Dragon's Eye seal or the artistic Dragon's Eye seal, or you want the Dragon's Eye seal tapestries, we have journals, we have t-shirts. We got a few new merch items that are coming in the near future. So those ritual circles, they're all there and available. All right, let's get into this. What shall I say you all? What's up, Drake? Hope you're doing good, man. I am A12. I am. Hope you're doing well also. Hugs up to you. Little Dragon, good to see you. Can we work with entities if your astral senses are not fully opened or only partially open? Absolutely. So people have this concept that they have to be 100% perfect before they can start working with an entity. No. Before you can start having real-time communications, you do need to have your senses developed somewhat, but not even actually 100%, because your senses will continue to develop throughout your career. Even me at this stage in my practice, my senses are getting more defined, more clarity, more HD, if you want to use that term. But you can start working with entities before. You may have to take a little precautions. You have to may record things. You may have to double check things to make sure you're getting things clearly, and you won't be able to take things just at face value every time because they're still developing. But you can easily start working with an entity, just like you can say a prayer to an entity without ever doing anything. You can sit down and you can do a hailing ritual to Odin without any senses. Odin will hear it. It just makes your side of the conversation harder. But that's not to say you can't work with them. You can still work through meditation. You can still work through trance. You can still do a lot of things in Magick without that. Grant you full evocation, you're going to kind of need that because full evocation is all about that full real-time conversation. But at the same time, if you've built an arcane sanctum, for example, go check out our video on arcane sanctum. If you can get to your arcane sanctum, if you can see your arcane sanctum, you should have no issue contacting entities and working with them in your sanctum, period, in the story. Some things may still, again, record it, always double check it. Don't take everything you hear at face value, especially when you're starting, because you could interject things for the entity and don't know it. It takes time. It takes practice. But don't wait till everything's a perfect, because you'll never be perfect, ever. You'll continue to develop. So you can definitely start. Ray, welcome. How is the world perceived by an astral projection? So if you're astrally projecting, then you're not in the material world. You're on the astral plane, even if you're looking at the material world. And it will be distorted, foggy, cloudy. There's times where it won't even be foggy and it may not look distorted, but it will still distort even if you're not picking up on the distortions. Would be the easiest way to say that. Get a community, got that. A12. Drake, in your opinion, what happened in history? Who do you think are some of the most important gods? In my opinion, it don't matter. It don't matter. People want to try and do this, my God's better than yours, power play, one-upman, kindergarten bullshit. it don't matter. It's not a power play. It's not a political game. It's none of that. And honestly, magicians and practitioners who get into that mindset are missing the entire point to start with. Um, and in all honesty, even amongst the creator gods, if you will, they all seem to work together as equals. Anytime you actually sit down and talk to them with an open mind, they will definitely have that conversation. So it doesn't really matter. The question is the entities you want to work with, what are going to help you? Those are the things that actually matter. Now, that's not to say history don't matter. The history of mankind matters and should not be altered, should not be changed, and should not be forgotten, or we are doomed to repeat the same mistakes. Don't believe me? Check the news. That's all I'm going to say on that. But as far as metaphysics and which God is more important to this, it doesn't freaking matter. It really does not. I know that's a controversial take on it, and I know a lot of people's like, oh! But newsflash, people, it really doesn't. I've worked across pantheons. They really don't care. It's our ego, not theirs. And again, you need to check the ego at the door. Shar new. Happy coffee day. Hey, happy coffee day to you, Shar. Thank you so much. Your advice is amazing. Hey, thank you. I tried my best. Let's see what we got here. Solomon's son, when communicating with entities and trying to express your needs and wants, but can't formulate words at the moment, can entities pick up on what you can't articulate? Sort of empath. Absolutely, they can. And honestly, even if you were to articulate it, they will still pick up on the general meaning. Though you do also have to be careful because you have to truly understand what it is you think you want and what you feel you want and what your needs are. Want and needs are not the same thing. People often think that these two things are the exact same thing, and they are not. And needs outweigh wants every freaking time. Every freaking time. So the entity will always focus on needs over wants. And this is where people get in trouble. Because if you ask an entity to assist you for something, and you put it to work in your life and it needs to remove something in order for you to achieve that goal, and you're trying to cling to it, you and that entity will actually end up in an energetic fight. And more often than not, either the entity is just going to stop trying to help you because you're interfering with the very thing you asked it to do, which is kind of rude, to be honest with you, or the entity is going to win that fight and it's going to be a rough road. So you got to be careful with that. But those are, yeah. No, okay, Dragon of the West, I may not understand your question because the astral plane it's nothingness. It's basically kind of just a big giant expanse of space, occasional wisp of fog. So there's really nothing in the astral plane, if that's what you're asking. Astral travel's an activity. Astral plane's a location. So you may have to reword your question. Angela, good to see you. Cool answer. Thanks. Often find I have all the words up to the point where I sit at the altar. I go silent. It all turns into feelings. My actual talking drops in that moment. That's very common, Solomon. It really is. And that's one of those things where vocalizing it to the entity, if you're actually there, is not really as important as the connection and the communication. And entities are well beyond the need of physical vocabulary. So you really ain't got too much there. You just got to make sure you know what you're doing, what you're asking for, and that you really want to perceive it and have it. Do you think it's a good idea that people use magic to try and help with worldwide issues / situations, or do you think it makes it worse? That's a tricky one, Maria. That really is. One could use magic to help in worldwide situations. However, there is a problem, as every culture, every continent, every country sort of has its own ideals and values. So, for example, what I would think is just and kind and all this stuff may not be the same as someone in China or perhaps Japan. There's going to be different values held there. And you can actually be fighting against the very energetic and spiritual nature of a culture. And oftentimes, that energetic nature of that culture can backlash onto the magician because it will take it as an attack, not an aid. So you got to be careful as a magician if you're wanting to try and help in these things, that you've really sat down and done some thinking on it and thought about it and your hubris. Because just because you think it's the right action doesn't make it the right action. And it can actually backlash quite a bit. We've seen instances where a lot of magicians and witch communities have gotten together and they see what they perceive as a horrible, horrible drought or something. And because they don't live there, because they don't understand the environment, because they don't understand the yearly cycles of that location, you've got people who just constantly start doing spell work to bring rain and relieve the people from their drought and their suffering because we know better than the people who live there. And then it floods, full on tsunami flooding, because that area is supposed to have a dry season. Dry seasons and even natural wildfires serve purpose in nature. We have this concept that nature is harmless. Horse crap. Nature is very, very dangerous. Nature is harsh. Nature is cruel. It is not kumbaya, sunshine, rainbows, and roses. And it amazes me that the people who think it is are also the people who claim to be one with nature. So, yeah. I think it can be done, but I do think you got to be very, very mindful, and you got to be ready to handle the backlash when it happens, if it happens. So it should be done sparingly and with wisdom. And more often than not, if I was to do it, Maria, I would actually focus on the area you're trying to help and focus on the will of the people as opposed to a specific event. That way, whatever the people's will is what your magic's going to help uplift, as opposed to you and your individual hubris or misunderstanding of the climate, the environments, or perhaps the cultural differences. All right, if that makes sense. Do-do-do-do. Hey, good evening, Zaid. Mathis, mate, been a while. How you doing? Mugs up to you. And we jumped. Crap. That makes a whole lot of sense. Hi, Maria. Okay, I'm reading y'all's talking. Okay. We'll get there. What is the best way to get to know Freya? Honestly, the best way to get to know her is go check out our hailing ritual. Start doing a hailing ritual. Do some research on her and start doing regular hailing rituals and meditating with her and getting to know her and her energy in those ways. Spend time in meditation and trance with her and truly spend time to understand her. Because a lot of people want to paint Freya as this goddess of love and beauty, and that's it. She is also a goddess of magic. She is one of the most powerful sorceresses in all Norse mythology, and she is also one of the most powerful goddesses of war. She is a shield maiden before anything else. Yes, she is beautiful, but a lot of people get in trouble with Freya because they want to only work with an aspect of her. If you're honestly going to have to work with all of her if you want to truly get to know her. But I would just start doing the hailing ritual daily and spending a little time in meditation and trance as you do your research, and sit down, ask a specific question about her, or and let those answers flow in through the meditation and record it in your journal. Now, if you already have a evocation practice, try to evoke her. I mean, I work with her in evocation all the time. She's actually going to be one of the main entities that we will see in the Norse pathworking because she does hold such a prominent role. So I'm really looking forward to that. Hope that helps. Let's see. Animizer, why is it around 1, 2, 3 a.m.? I sense multiple entities around me. They don't really do anything. Oh, the reason is very simple. There's something around you 24/7, every day, every month, every week, every year. None of us are ever alone. There are always entities around us somewhere, someplace, easily. The reason you pick them up around that period of time is something called a psychic quiet. What that is our minds and our thoughts generate just think static background noise. Whether we're talking or not, our brains and our consciousness are just kind of, and much like sitting in a bar, you really have to focus to hear anything because everybody else is being around you. The psychic quiet is happening because most people are asleep. Okay. Once they go to sleep and their mind's quiet, that also brings that psychic quiet down. Everything becomes quiet. It's easier to perceive using the arcane senses and to hear things. Thus, you begin to pay attention and to notice things that were there the whole time. That's why it's a psychic quiet. Can you talk a little about Azazel? He has reached out, and I don't think you did a video on. I thought I did a video on Azazel. Did I not do a video on Azazel? I think I did. Immortal, search it because I'm almost sure I did a video on him. But I don't know what it is you want me to say. I mean, I love working with Azazel personally. He is an amazing teacher so long as you're willing to own it. If something goes wrong in your life, own it. He is all about your power, your mastery, and you making the changes. He doesn't do excuses. I would have done this. Like if you look at Azazel and said, I would have got this done, but you done lost his attention because you made an excuse. But as long as you're doing the work, he's an amazing entity to work with. And he's not gentle. Like when it comes, if you put Azazel to work in your life to help you to grow and to seek mastery, he is going to do it. He will literally just like if coffee, for example, let's use coffee. Y'all know how much I love coffee. If coffee genuinely was holding me back from my self-mastery and empowerment, Azazel would make sure I'd never, ever see a drop of coffee again. That's how serious he can get. But I absolutely adore him. Let's see, A12 on Instagram and Facebook. We are like, I honestly am not on Facebook. I don't even know if I've ever had an Instagram. Me and Facebook, we're just done. I'm done with them. Congrats on your followers, though. I was at like 2,000 followers when I would watch. Cheers. Cheers, A12. Okay. How is the Fey path working going? Okay. Alex. It's listening. So I got an assistant over here with your name. So Alex, 222. I need to change that name. The Fey path working is actually going very, very well. Many of you know we're past the summer solstice, thus the winter court is currently doing their shindig, and me and Mab are actually working and rerunning the information that she gave me last year and kind of refining that and taking notes, which is good. So I was really worried I wouldn't be allowed to do any notes or anything on it because I'm trying to finish up the evocation course. But luckily, that's not the case. The summer court path working is behind just a smidgen, but that's okay. We're going to. I was talking to Tatiana on that one, and she's got a plan to double down and make up for lost time. And on top of that, I actually have a few practitioners who I know and I'm close with that's also going to help me run through and do some testing on the notes to make sure things are solid. So my goal is theoretically to hope to start filming the Winter Court Fae Pathworking next year. Um, I got to talk to Mab how she wants that done, because I personally feel it would only be proper to film it during like the second half of the year. She may disagree in order to get it out by that, but so they are coming. They are coming along. I did not realize how big of a project this would be. I did not realize how particular they would be. But it's coming along great, and I'm super excited about it. And I wish there was more I could share about it, but I absolutely freaking love it. Do-do-do-do. Is Boone a little greater than no? Okay, so throw out the hierarchy concept again. That's a mortal mankind thing. Just toss it out. Don't even think about it. Um, let's see. Maybe I couldn't find it. It looks like I'll double check myself, Immortal. Maybe I didn't, and I thought I did. Maybe I had planned to do it. It's really weird. I would have thought I'd done that one. But yeah, search it. Just put it in the little type Azazel in there. It should pop up. But I will double check that one. Let's see. Mathis, Azazel was the strongest invocation I've ever had. He that you hear that from a lot of people. I looked in the wrong playlist. That's possible too. Always use the search function, because I have so many videos now that even the playlists are just getting bogged down. And it's like, I mean, even if somebody's like, well, you could create more playlists. Yes, but then you got to click more playlists. And the playlists are always semi-organized. So yeah. The search function is a godsend. It really is. We jumped. Crap. Oh well. Creator. Wow, I missed the beginning. Sorry. No problem. That's why we got a replay, creator. Which will come in handy, because I'm pretty sure I went back and answered your me question back there. Wait, I watched your video the other day with DH Thorn. It was such a great video. DH Thorn. I think have I done? I don't think I've done a video with DH Thorn. I've seen his videos and content. Are you saying you watched mine along with his videos? Because I mean, he is actually an individual I'd love to get on the channel and do an interview with. I've loved his content. I know we don't agree on everything, but I love his content. Because I don't have to agree with you to like you or your content or your approach. There's not one path up this mountain, people. So yeah, that one's got me kind of curious. Awesome. Look for thanks. I do apologize for the delay on some of these path workings. Perhaps I jumped the gun in announcing it just because I was so excited that this was going to be a thing, and so many of you are interested in the Fae. And I did not know how much work was going to go into it. And I am trying. I really am. Because if you remember, we got Dragon Magic 103 we still got to film, and we got the Norse course, and we're finishing up Evocation, and our goal is to have Evocation done this year. So it's one of those things where, because of the move and so many other things, it's just been crazy. I am behind, but at the same time, I feel like I'm catching up. And it's finding the time to get it in there, because Dragon Magic 102 has been up for about a year and a half now. So It's getting to the point where enough people should be coming to a conclusion on that course and having time to work with the specialty dragons and everything that is in that course and build those relationships that 103 should be a priority soon. So I'm a one-man show. I'm doing the best I can. What's the most dangerous god to work with? It depends on you and your personality and the entity. Freya will haul off and smite you in an instant if you have the right personality. Same thing with Odin and Thor, any of them. Just like people, they have opinions. And if you push their buttons, they have no problem smacking you on top of the head. There isn't a safe entity to work with. You can piss any of them off. That's why, by and large, I always tell people you don't have to worry if you're treating them with respect and you're not being a dick. And you're listening and you're having open and honest conversations. But you also need to look into their mythology and who they are and what they are and the energy that's truly around them. Because we have this concept, what's really getting people in trouble with working with entities of any kind is we want to turn them into fluffy little bunny cuddly things that they are not. And they don't want to be treated as something they're not. And they will get pissy if you do. And I don't blame them. I really don't blame them. I'm not a hugger. If you continue to try to hug me time and time again, when I say I'm not a hugger, it's not going to be long before I literally slam you on the ground. Because stay the flip out of my space. Unless you're one of the very few people who I have given permission to hug me, don't touch me. That's just my rule. I'm not a hugger. I will shake your hand. I will greet you, but do not come in and hug me without permission. End of story. That's non-negotiable. And people's like, well, that's harsh. That's no reaction. Tough crap. I'm not a nice person. I'm social. I'm me. I'm not perfect. I have flaws, but I am who I am. And I mean, I've told you all. I openly admit to being an asshole. And then people try to, oh, you're not, you're so sweet, you're so nice. And then they get all offended and wound up and they're like, how can you be such an asshole? It's like, I literally told you I was. It's the same thing. Entities have those same opinions. So take time to get to know them and really understand them and don't try to make them into something else. Like I have seen Loki tear people's lives upside down because they want to make Loki into this chaotic devil figure or make him into Marvel's Loki, neither of which are true of Loki's actual personality. Take the time to really get to know these entities. Because when it comes to danger level, they're all dangerous and they're all safe. Entirely depends on your personality. There's plenty of entities I do not get along with. Ra being one. Me and Ra will not work together. I will reach out to him only for clients. Otherwise, I don't want nothing to do with his ass. Let's see. Oh, we jumped again. Crap. The link to the Azazel. There's the Azazel. I knew I did one. I thought I was going crazy for a second. I thought I was going. What's this? We got a super chat here. Alex222 working with Fae compared to demons I like. Wait, what? Working with Fae compared to demons I like. Are you asking how the two of them compare? I love Lilith. Hands down, I love Lilith. I have actually been working with her and discussing with her on what to do for a video, and that got sidetracked because Lilith is actually one of the entities that's like, I want to be in your evocation course. Her and I have worked together for years. I adore Lilith. She has a really bad rap, though. There's a lot of things she's not happy with of how people portray her. And weirdly, it's not the church she's upset with right now. That's another time for another story. Let's see, the creator. I love it when that you are excited about the Fae course. It lets me know it's going to be good. When Drake gets excited about a course, it reminds me of a kid. Oh, thank you. I actually take that as a compliment. um, Why do you stay away from the Egyptian gods? Because they demand worship. I will not bend the knee. I will not kneel. I will not worship. I will treat them as equals. And they get pissy every time I do that. So, other than the handful, which is probably 5 or less, that don't demand worship, I have nothing to do with them, plain and simple. I will not worship an entity. I will not bend the knee to an entity. Um, it's that simple. And Egyptian pantheon is really heavy, 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 heavy on the worship and servitude style. And that's the reason me and Ra had a falling out, literally. And what I said to him the last time we officially worked together, well, let's just say, without turning on the 18 plus thing for this stream, I can't repeat what I said here. Was not the best of responses, but I don't regret it. Could I have articulated it more sophisticatedly? Yes, but I don't regret it. I stand by what I said. But yeah, I won't work with them. I won't work with any entity that demands me to worship it. Period. End of story. If that's just who I am. I make my intentions very clear with any entity I work with. I will respect you. I will treat you as an equal. But I will not bend a knee. I will not view myself as a lesser, and I will not worship you. If that's a problem, later. That's just who I am. There's a lot of people. Now, don't get me wrong, though. There's a lot of people who get a lot from the Egyptian pantheon. And in fact, there's a lot of people who prefer that method. I don't think there's anything wrong with that method for some people. It's just not me. It's not something I can do or will ever do. It may have a lot with how I grew up. It may have a lot with my experiences in religion. You all heard me say I'm a faithless bastard. And I am. I don't do anything on faith. That's why even my approach to magic is more on a scientific level than it is anything spiritual. I'm neither spiritual nor religious nor faith. I just do me. If it doesn't yield results, if I don't get verifiable manifestations, I ain't wasting my time. And if an entity wants me to bend the knee and worship, well, later. I love how totally real, blunt, honest you are about the gods and goddesses and other entities. That's the only way I know to be in life. Like anyone who's ever seen me in a private chat, you can see how hard it is for me to literally stop, think, process down, and filter in a tactful manner because I'm a very blunt person. I may be harsh. I may come across harsh, but I'm very blunt. If anything, you always know where I stand. I will tell you what I think. I will tell you what I feel. Always. Even if I'm wrong, I'm going to speak what I believe to be the truth. And if I'm wrong, bring me the information, bring me the proof, show it to me, and I'll take it. Because one of the things, and I've talked about it here on this channel, is I always even take my own practice and I will continually test my own practice because I want to improve. I'm always willing to be wrong. Actually, I did a video on that about willing to be willing to be wrong. Too many people are stuck up their own ass with their ego and their gnosis, and they're not willing to be wrong. In fact, what is true for you in personal gnosis today, 2 months, a year from now, may not be true because you are not the same person you was then. And if you are the same person a year from now that you was then, you done fucked up. Because if you're not progressing daily, you're doing something wrong. So there's that. Let's see. I have worked with Set. Do you find building relationships with goetic spirits any different than building relationships with? Nope, I really don't. The goetic spirits are really not that different. A lot of people want to put the goetic spirits up onto a pedestal as some kind of unique category. Honestly, it's not that different. I find them to be just as easy as any. In fact, a lot of my students, I would start them in the Goetia because it can be a lot easier to start with the Goetia than other spirits, which seems ass backwards to what a lot of people say because they're like, "Oh my God, it's the Goetic spirits." Yeah, I've never had any issues. Not had a single student really have issues as long as they follow the base framework that I lay out for them through evocation. Like the evocation course is based on that very framework that I'm talking about. Every student has followed that has had no issues. And the only issues they have had has come to, did you communicate what you want? Did you actually think about what you asked for? And did you do your part? So everything that went wrong was on their end. It had nothing to do with the spirit itself. Um, so yeah, that would just be that. Are there evil gods? Evil is in the eyes of the beholder. That is a crappy answer, probably, but it is. There are a lot of people who view Odin as an awful, 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 horrible person. There are people who view Thor the same way, or Freya. There are people who view Loki as an absolute saint. There are people who view Archangel Michael as the devil himself. Same thing with Raphael and Gabriel. Where at the other side, we also see that these angels are very much well known for being angelic, celestial, helpful beings to mankind. It is going to entirely depend on your perception, your life, and what you're going through and the actions they take. There are many times where an entity will actually take an action to help you, and you will view it as evil because you didn't want it. You see this a lot in people who's trying to get out of a rut. They're trying to build prosperity. They're trying to build wealth. They're trying to build themselves up and build themselves into a prosperous lifestyle. And they have an entire core group of friends that are just 100% toxic. And they are literally pulling this person back. They're holding them down. And they don't want to let go of their group of friends, but they've asked an entity to move them beyond that group of friends. That group of friends, if it's going to remain toxic, if it's going to stay down here in the swamp, the entity will be like, okay, problem solved. Get rid of that. They will eliminate all the friends. And to some, like, that's awful. That's horrible. That's what you asked for. That is literally what you asked for. So you always have to remember when talking about concepts like good and evil, it is in the eyes of the beholder. What is normal for the spider is chaos and horror for the fly. Simple. The multiverse is just that way. The concept of the ultimate good and evil, it's not out there. I've never seen any one thing to ever show me that the concept of true good and evil exists. There's not an entity out there that does not have a black mark on their record, and there's not an entity out there that does not have a saintly mark on their record. Let's see. About our God, you are funny, Drake. I can't articulate what made me laugh so much to say that, but you really do make magic easy. Like if there is no manifestation fairly quickly, you're out of there. I mean, I've told you all, I literally dove into like a year's worth of magic research to prove magic didn't work, and I ended up wrong. And that was shortly after my disdain for religion and faith and spirituality and everything. And that's actually also what kind of got me on that whole science of magic philosophy and ideal. So yeah. How about Boone? What about Boone? I've worked with Boone. I've worked with Boone in the Goetia. Anytime I've worked through it, I've enjoyed working with Boone. Boone and I usually get along pretty well. He's never done anything that made me dislike him. So, could you be a bit more? Let's see. The evocation class is not up and running yet. No, I am gunning to have it up this year. In fact, I think I've said this in the members only area. I don't remember if I've ever said it on stream. I can't promise a release date. I can't. All I can say is I have a personal goal because I found out I need a freaking deadline. I don't work. People's like, don't give yourself a deadline. Don't stress yourself. I can't do that. I can't. I have to have a deadline. My deadline is to hope to have it out in the fall. I'm gunning for October-ish. Um, so that is my goal. I'd love late September to October to have it done. We've almost finished filming, and then we just got to kind of polish and clean it. And actually, one of the things I'm wanting to do in that class is also talk about how to contact and evoke an unknown entity, which many of you may know now. I don't know if I've mentioned it on the stream. We have figured out we officially have a ghost in our new house, and we always love to have a nice ghost in the house. I don't know who it is. I don't know what it is, but I am actually planning to reach out and contact and speak with this ghost and kind of get an idea of who they are, say hello to them officially. And I'm actually planning to record this so that you all can literally see me reach out to an unknown spirit here at the freaking house. So that's actually going to be used as part of the evocation course as well. And we're also going to be discussing land spirits and how to contact those and everything. We're trying to make this as big as we can. And of course, it's also going to be a living course. So when it's published, like evocation's that skill that I really always want to try and do well. And I'm worried about perfection paralysis. So we're going to release it with all the information that I think it needs. But the reason I'm going to call it a living course is because if I see a video that needs to be redone or I think can be improved or reshot, whether it be gear upgrades or whatnot, I'm going to do it. I'm going to add that into the course. If I see a topic that, oh crap, why didn't I cover that? We're going to add that. And when you purchase the course, all these add-ons, free. So make sure when you sign up for the evocation course, you do also opt into emails, because I don't know if it'll update you if I update the video, but anytime I do an update, I plan to also email the people who own the course. So there you go. Ever try to contact spirit of the dead like ghost in there? There a benefit to doing so? Oh yeah, I work with spirits of the dead freaking all the time. Most of the entities I work with are death entities: Hell, Freya, Odin. I mean, just to name three right off the top. So yeah, I work with spirits of the dead all the time. I work with people grieving. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits to working with the dead. The dead are very knowledgeable. They have access to different information. Great example is Jade. Actually, with me and Jade was talking, I taught her how to reach out to her grandmother to get the recipes that no one ever wrote down. So now Jade's the only person in her family who has all her grandmother's recipes that her grandmother never wrote down, even though technically they should have been lost the time when she passed. So there's a lot of benefits there. A house just is better when it has a ghost. It can be. It really can. Actually, I'm not sure if we've ever had a non-haunted house, because we have a lot of reasons to think the last one was. I just never. It was very low compared to others. Let's see. Hey, thank you for the super chat, Immortal. Mugs up to you. Member for 13 months. That's right. And Immortal joined us for a Bermuda Triangle roundtable, which should be coming out in a few weeks. Speaking of ghosts, are demons to blame for demonic hauntings? What is it and what? No, honestly, most of the things that are labeled demonic hauntings are either poltergeist, psychic energy, or are human spirits. Demons got better things to do than waste their time doing that. It is a very religious leaning slant that demons get blamed for that. In fact, if you look up most entities, like if you truly dive into like the lore and mythology of most demons, that word was thrown onto deities and entities. And every religion has done this throughout human history, where if they conquered someone or they didn't like someone's particular pantheon, they would either incorporate it or demonize it. And so we now have a massive grouping of entities that are largely just mislabeled. So there you go. Temple, what do dragons think of Anki? I don't think I've ever specifically asked them what they think of him. I mean, the dragons are allied with, like, again, every entity I can think of, Anki included, as long as it concerns the balance. Now, if any entity ever worked against the balance directly, the dragons would not assist in that. In fact, they would try to counter that. Their entire thing is about that multiversal balance. But I've never specifically said, "Hey, what do you think of this guy over here?" But I do know that Anki is, like other entities, one of their allies and helps within that balance. Let's see, where are we at? 50 minutes? All right, cool. Let's see, Immortal. Woo! Oh, wait, that's not a super chat. Is it a super? No, that's just showing us that Immortal's been a tier 3 member. Sign up for memberships. Join the cool kids. Like Immortal. And Pop, where's Pop Smoking Heathen? That boy is missing tonight. All right, that's okay. We'll catch up with him later. So much from my family. Yeah, I spend a lot of time speaking with family members as well. My old mentor, who was like a father to me, my actual father, him and I have had so many wonderful chats. I can't even begin. Both of my grandmothers, Mama Peyton. I love to speak with her. I did not give my Mama Peyton enough attention when she was older. It's not like a guilt thing, but like, I grew up in the Appalachia, and like, she was always telling these crazy stories. And when I was younger, the science kid in me was rolling my eyes like, yeah, whatever. And I didn't listen. You ever not listen? I did it. But now, where I'm at as a magician and understanding, and the fact that I do a lot more paranormal stuff, research, and I've done cryptid investigations, and the fact that I love the Appalachian region, I really do. I now spend more time talking with her about those stories. And I just can't get enough of when she starts telling her tales. I really can't. I'm loving it. So I actually do work a lot with ancestral spirits and stuff. In fact, if you think about it, anytime someone does ancestor work, they're working with dead people. They're working with human spirits. So therein and of itself is a massive category where people can see the benefit in working with the dead. Where is it? I love doing workings with my great grandmother. Yes, grandmothers are amazing. And Immortal found our Mando helmet. That art's actually done off the actual Mando helmet I've made. It's over here in the office, actually. I'm a nerd. If you didn't know that, I'm a nerd. I had a full set of Mandalorian armor built, but it kind of got killed in the move. And now, I don't know if I'm going to rebuild it or not. I'm going to keep my helmet, but I don't know if I'll rebuild the armor or not. Let's see. If I did and have my astral sanctum, will they give me the choice to live there instead of reincarnation again if I don't achieve ascent in this lifetime? No. You can't get off the cycle of reincarnation without ascent, because that literally is detrimental to your actual oversoul, your greater soul. If that cycle does not continue, it will die. So they will not. Now, the you that is you in this lifetime, that particular piece of that oversoul, that can stay in your sanctum, but the rest of it still has to go through the normal cycle. Remember, reincarnation is not you jumping from body to body to body, the way some people paint it, because if that was the case, we'd have no ghosts. You'd have no ancestors. There would be nothing but that. So, that particular fragment could hang out in your sanctum as the rest of the oversoul and the other fragments continue to reincarnate and cycle through. but the process must continue. You have to rebuild it. We'll see. I got to get some time. I don't have a lot of time for it right now, but maybe when I'm not working on all the different courses, we might actually rebuild it. It'd be cool to maybe do a stream and something like that. Although I don't know how to mic it. That would muffle the crap out of me, wouldn't it? Well, if I had the helmet on and if I was able to get the mic like here, then you might be able to pick my voice up from under it. I'll consider it. Okay, I will consider it. Temple of the Dragons. Why don't the dragons interfere with the imbalance of the Earth's government? Because of free will. A people and a species has a right to do what it does. At this point in time, humans are not affecting the multiverse. We are only affecting our stupidity. And they are leaving us to our own stupidity. If the human race ever gets to the point where it endangers the multiverse, then and only then will they step in. At this point in time, we are of no danger to the multiverse at all. We're not even a blip on the radar. And because of that, we are left to our own stupidity. That is what growth and development is. If you've watched Entities, they expect you to be accountable. They expect you to take responsibility for your actions. They expect you to fight for that which it is that you care most for. If you're not willing to fight for it, they're sure as hell not going to do it for you. And right now, that's pretty much the case. So yeah, they're going to let us either figure it out ourselves or destroy ourselves. It's that simple. The thing is, they focus on a multiversal imbalance. They don't focus on a singular small imbalance that affects just Earth. And right now, that's all it's affecting. And it is still within our ability to fix it. Though I do question whether or not we will, but that we don't go into politics here. So that's the non-political answer to your question there, Temple. Let's see, what do we got here? 37. Is there a way to see if my dad still here, even if he is dead? Your ancestors and your parents can watch over you, and even if they've passed on. I mean, it's not like you pass on and you can't check on your family. It doesn't work that way. That's one reason I can't watch paranormal shows. It's like they haven't gone on into the light. They can go to the light and come back and say, "Hi, how you doing?" My family does it all the time. So yeah, they can easily do that. In fact, my dad, I specifically know when he's around because I either hear specific songs or chords because my dad loved the guitar, or I smell Aqua Velva or Brute Cologne. I prefer the Brute out of the bit. Aqua Velva I was never a fan of. I can't believe he ever owned any of that. But oh well, say la vie. Oh man. So I hope that helps you a little bit there, Brennan. Thanks. Bye, Jade. Bye, Jade. Did Jade leave? Crap. She left me unsupervised? Oh, wait. Violet Star's leaving. That's, I bet, what it was. Thanks, Dirk. Take it easy, Violet Star. You scared me, by the way. Lord only knows what would happen if Jade leaves me unsupervised. Night Drake, or, well, I'm Drake. Night West. Night Dragon of the West. Good live stream. Got to go. Have a great evening. Yep, we're getting ready to wind up here. I'm surprised Jade ain't throwing clocks at me yet. Creator, honestly, I given up on my human race, and chosen to focus on myself and live alone in the mountains away from the. That's your choice, Creator. Everyone's got their own path and their own choice, but at the same time, if we give up, we can't expect it to get better either. So, is what it is. Let's see, probably. Hey, I don't, people I say I'm allergic to stupid people all the time. I mean, I haven't necessarily given up on things, but I am allergic to stupid people. So, take that for what oh, there's my clocks. There we go. Yep, there's the clocks. Everybody, I'm going to hop off here. I got some trouble to get into and some things to do around the house. And I got a lot of filming to do this week, hopefully. Whew, man. Might have to rearrange the office, or I might try to shoot some of that in the garage. We have a garage I might be able to shoot in. Anyway, I got some logistics things to figure out as well. So you all have a fantastic week. Remember, keep on doing your best, keep on working, keep on moving forward, keep on trying to do better tomorrow than you did today. And if you mess up, if you screw up, it's okay. Learn from it. Get up, dust yourself off, and keep on moving. Don't give up. That's when you fail. Only when you give up have you truly failed. All right, everyone, have a fantastic week. Take care. Good night. Bye-bye.